Amara, a 29-year-old waitress at Sonny's Diner, never imagined that one ordinary evening shift would lead to a decision that would change her life forever. Known for her warm smile and ability to make every customer feel special, Amara had worked at Sonny's for 3 years. Located in a quiet corner of Berkeley, a small town near San Francisco, the diner was a haven for locals, especially the older crowd who came to enjoy pie, coffee, and lively chats about life and basketball. For Amara, the diner was more than a job. It was her comfort zone. But that night, the routine she knew so well was about to be disrupted. The bell above the door jingled, and Amara glanced up, expecting to see a familiar face. Instead, her heart skipped a beat. Walking in, dressed casually in a hoodie and sneakers, was none other than Steph Curry, the Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Despite his understated appearance, his presence lit up the room, drawing stares and whispers from the regulars. Amara froze for a moment, stunned. She'd watched him dominate on the court countless times, but seeing him here, in her little diner, felt surreal. Gathering her composure, she approached him with her usual friendly demeanor. "Good evening. What can I get for you tonight?" Steph looked up, flashing her a warm, kind smile. "Just a coffee, black, and maybe a slice of whatever pie you've got." "Coming right up," she replied, steadying her voice as butterflies danced in her stomach. As she set the coffee and pie in front of him, Amara couldn't help but admire how grounded he seemed, despite his fame. But not everyone shared her admiration. Earl, one of the diner's regulars and a die-hard Sacramento Kings fan, wasn't thrilled to see a rival team star in their midst. Known for his bluntness, Earl decided to make his opinions known. Earl approached Steph's table with a scowl. "You're Steph Curry, right?" he asked gruffly. Steph nodded politely. "That's me." "I've read about you," Earl said, crossing his arms. "You make millions, but what do you actually do for people who need it? Seems like all that charity stuff you do is just for show." The accusation hung in the air, silencing the diner. Amara, who had been clearing a nearby table, froze. Steph remained calm, his voice measured. "I try to give back where I can," he replied. "I've supported education programs, built basketball courts for kids, and helped fund charities." Earl scoffed. "Sounds like a PR stunt to me." Amara couldn't take it anymore. She stepped forward, her voice steady despite her nerves. "That's not true," she said firmly. "Steph Curry has done more for people than most of us could dream of. He's given scholarships, funded disaster relief efforts, and supported mental health programs. His actions speak for themselves?" Earl raised an eyebrow. "And you believe all that?" "I do," Amara shot back, "because I've read about the lives he's changed. He doesn't have to do any of it, but he does because he cares." The diner fell silent. Earl muttered something under his breath and returned to his seat, but the moment had already shifted the room. Mr. Sullivan, the diner's owner, stepped out from the kitchen with a stern look on his face. "Amara," he said, motioning her over. Amara approached, her heart sinking. "What were you thinking?" Mr. Sullivan asked sharply. "You don't argue with customers, especially not regulars like Earl. They're the backbone of this place." "I wasn't arguing," Amara replied, her voice trembling. "I was standing up for someone who didn't deserve to be treated that way." Mr. Sullivan shook his head. "This is a business, not a debate club. If Earl and the others are upset, we lose their loyalty. I think it's best if you find another job." The words hit Amara like a punch to the gut. "You're firing me?" she asked, stunned. "I'll give you a few days to transition," he said firmly. Amara held back tears, her head held high. As she walked past Steph's table to gather her things, he stopped her. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "Thank you for standing up for me. It meant more than you know." Amara managed a weak smile. "You're welcome." The next morning, Amara woke up feeling the weight of what had happened. Sonny's had been her second home, and losing her job over doing what she believed was right left her questioning everything. Still, she resolved to face the day and collect her final paycheck. When she arrived at the diner, something unusual caught her eye. A sleek black SUV parked outside. Inside, the usual hum of conversation was gone. Instead, the diner was silent. Steph Curry was seated at a booth, and the regulars watched him with a mix of curiosity and unease. As soon as Amara walked in, Steph stood. "Amara," he said warmly, "can we talk?" Amara nodded, her heart racing as she slid into the booth across from him. "You stood up for me when you didn't have to," Steph began. "That took courage, and I admire that more than I can say." "I just did what felt right," she said quietly. Steph smiled. "And that's exactly why I'm here. My foundation is expanding, and we need people who are passionate about making a difference. People like you." Amara blinked, stunned. "Are you serious?" "Completely," Steph said. "It's not waiting tables, but it's a chance to be part of something bigger." Tears welled in her eyes as the weight of his words sank in. "Yes," she whispered. "Absolutely, yes." Steph grinned, shaking her hand. "Welcome to the team." As he left, Amara felt a renewed sense of purpose. Losing her job at Sunny's wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something extraordinary,